Loish built a cult following of over 2 million people without ever trying to go viral. And it's no mystery why, her style is instantly recognizable. If you've tried to develop your own style before, you know how hard it is. But if you manage, you'll never have to worry about making a living from your art ever again. So in this video, I'm uncovering the secrets behind her process, testing it myself, and breaking down a 10-minute technique she uses in every artwork. I've never seen anyone else do this, and it might be the reasons why her style is so successful. Hey friends, welcome back to Finding My Art Style, the ongoing series where I'm documenting my journey of finding my style in real time. I made this 6 months plan, which I'm currently halfway through, and each step of the way has its own video, but they can be watched as standalone episodes, so feel free to roam around. If you want to watch it in order, it's not necessary, but there's a link in the description. And if you want to explore my process in more detail, I turned this into an interactive mind map, which I'll keep updating with all my findings and resources as the journey progresses. With that said, I'm super excited about this one, so let's dive into the style of Loish. Loish built her skills before going to animation school, and I always love to buy the books of artists like her because it's fascinating to see how they navigate their art journey. And the more I look into these stories, the more I see a pattern. We all begin with the same influences, basically the shows that we watch as kids. And for Loish, that early influence was Disney, and you can see it in her work, the magic, the elegance, the softness of the shapes. But something else came into the mix along the way she discovered manga, and it left a mark, especially on how she stylized proportions. The large eyes, the small noses, the way features and poses are pushed just beyond realism. And in fact, she has a name for this: semi-realism. This is where I really start to see myself in her words. She describes semi-realism as something that feels believable, yet is stylized. You push the shapes, you exaggerate the gestures, but they feel right. That's what makes characters so expressive in my opinion. And that's definitely something I want to get better at. But it's in this section on rhythm that I realize just how much goes into her work. She's obviously great at thinking in 3D, but here you see how much she values 2D design as well. Alongside her effort to create depth and realism, there's a clear focus on shape design. And it's that balance between a strong 2D layout and a believable 3D feel that gives her work so much appeal. It's something truly worth striving for. And there's so much more in this book. I can't go over all of it here, but I highly recommend it. One thing that stood out to me was how she singles out weightlessness as being a key part of her style. And now that I see it, I cannot unsee it. It's something I'd love to experiment with in my own work. But right now, I'm here for something specific: her process. Loish calls it the intuitive digital workflow. It's a 10-step method that she follows to make her digital paintings. I've mapped out all of the steps, and steps 5 to 7 really surprised me. They're unique to her way of working. And I'll try them out myself in a second, but in a nutshell, the idea is to have all of the ingredients on the canvas early, so that all of the colors and the values are locked in, and from that point onwards she's only allowed to use what she finds on the canvas in order to continue to sculpt and render her way to the final process. She compares it to baking a cake, which is unfortunate because I don't know how to do that. But let's try it out. Before I start drawing, I need to find a process video that actually shows this in action, which means it's time to dig into her Patreon. Loish has been on Patreon since 2019, and she's been posting a lot. Easily the most comprehensive artist Patreon I've seen. Tutorials, step-by-step guides, Q&As, challenges, and of course process videos. Lots of them. I'm a Flame Patreon, which gives me access to basically all of it. Even most of her paid tutorials, only a handful are not included. Honestly, this tier is almost overwhelming with how much there is, but I'll let you decide for yourself. In fact, I've decided to gift a 1-month membership of Loish Flame tier to one of my subscribers that manages to solve the secret riddle that I hid in this video. But let's get back to what I'm here for: process videos. We need to choose one process video that follows the same workflow from the book. The book came out in 2022, so based on that, I found this one. It has everything we talked about: semi-realism, strong shape design, depth, and even weightlessness. It's exactly what I was looking for, and I'm going to use it for my improved version of a master study, something I call the character swap. This is where the challenge begins. A traditional master study would mean copying the artwork exactly, but that doesn't teach you how the artist thinks. It doesn't teach you much at all, really. You don't get to make decisions, you don't get to understand. But if you swap the character while keeping everything else the same, the composition, the lighting, the style, the process, now you are forced to make it work. And that means you have to solve the problems the way Loish would. In this case, I'm replacing a mermaid with my character, so the reference is kind of an elegant and simple shape, especially in the tail here. But my character, well, he's got legs, he's got Chopstick the cat, and his VR headset goggles. So how do I make it all fit within this particular shape design? Conveniently, when my character wears his VR headset goggles, a tiger version of goggles manifests. And it's like an ethereal creature, so I can have it wrap around my character. I've drawn it like that before, it becomes sort of a hoodie, and it's inspired by some sketches of Kim Jong-gi. So that's my way in. I can merge the character and the tiger into one single flowing silhouette to match the mermaid's shape. That solves the 2D aspect. But now I need to solve for the 3D volume, because inside that shape the forms are completely different from Loish artwork. And figuring that out, that's what really makes you learn. I'll focus on 3D volumes when sculpting with color in step 8, but for now I lay down the base colors, shadows and the final palette. And then, this is the crucial moment, everything needs to be on the canvas. From this point onward, I can only work with what's already here. So I merge everything into one single layer like she does. Oh, guts. And from the point of adding the color palette to when I merge the layers, it's been about 10 minutes. And those are the 10 minutes that change everything. This moment locks you in. It forces you to make decisions that you will have to live with the rest of the painting. And somehow, it makes the process way more fun. Because limitations are what create play. That's what games are actually, just a set of rules, a playground with boundaries. Without rules, there's no challenge, and without challenge, there's no fun. Loish's process turns painting into some sort of game of problem solving, and I really like that. At this point we've got a form sculpted, so I add the final details, some foreground and background elements to add depth, and of course the final touch, the Dragon Ball, because I really like to pay tribute to my influences. And with that, the character swap is done. Enjoy the reveal. Before, I thought of process as a formula, a set of steps. Follow them and you'll get the result you want. But following is not understanding. Now I see process as a puzzle. A challenge, a set of rules, and you have to play within them to solve the problems that come up. And once you start doing that, you realize something. You're not just going through the motions anymore. You're actually owning what you've learned. And I intend to keep doing this. Next up, I'll break down the style of Samdo's art and push this experiment even further. That video will be added to this playlist on screen now, where I document this entire journey. Every time I do this, I uncover something unexpected, so it's growing into a little treasure trove of insights. I hope you enjoy it, and see you there.